no, it's okay. I won't block your view.
Okay, we're good to go. Thank you all for being here. Thank you. New managers? Brand new managers? There's a few? Okay, Jason, see? New managers. Sorry, no, it's okay. You have a team member there?
Sorry, can I see a show of hands again? Who are the new managers here?
New managers?
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for volunteering. I know sometimes it's a little daunting, like, first time to manage a team, but we've all been there, and it's okay. Like, this is a community, right? Like, we all help each other, and we're all like one email away. So if you need help, you never have to feel alone.
Yes, and this is, so for the first time since 2019, our in-person meeting for the managers. So very excited about that. So you guys can put a bit of names to the faces or faces to the names that you might see. So do we have the introductions and stuff on there, Jason?
No, I don't have them.
Okay, so I'm Keith Renfrey, President Burnaby Minor. Very, very thankful this year. We have a very wonderful executive, great personnel such as Jason Uwe, the Director of Volunteers. Katie Larson is our Director of Female Programs. We have Dennis Sato is joining us as well. He's our Referee-in-Chief. A lot of boos came from the coaches here, but for you guys, it's okay. You guys are great. The managers are good. Exactly, yeah. You want to be on this good side.
No, they'll know me more as the lead manager.
The lead manager for U11.
For U11,
Yes,
yeah.
U11 lead manager, as well as our referee-in-chief for Burnaby Minor. Angela Sam is our ice allocator. And and I'll also introduce Rebecca Chow. I'll call her the godmother of managing, okay? Just so you're all aware. With a lot of good resources, team manager manual, a lot of experience here, you guys. So as Jason said, lots of good resources for you here. And it is like a big community, so any questions you have, please feel free to ask. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. So, I want this to be as interactive as we can. So if you have any questions, just raise your hand. I shrunk this presentation from 42 slides from last year to like 20 something. So I want to give some time for question and answers, especially for the volunteer program. And I only have one slide for volunteer program, but I know there's going to be questions. Everyone is wondering what's happening. So I want to spend more time there, and if you want to ask questions, do it when we get there, okay? So this is what I want to talk about. As I was going through this presentation, or updating it, I've created some tools that I'm hoping that will make your life easier, and I'll talk about that when we get there. Okay, so manager's role, especially for the new managers. This is what I had to go through, whenever I start a season. You might be wondering, apply for tournaments is the first thing. Like Keith, my head coach, actually applied for a tournament in August. So for really popular tournaments, you have to get going. If you know you're going to be team manager, or if you want to be team manager, you work with your coach, apply right away. Especially like outdoor tournaments, a lot of teams want to get on it, and usually it's time-based, right? The earlier you put your team or your name in, the better your chances are.
On that, tonight, just because I had a question, so yeah, Hockey BC, so just go BC Hockey Tournaments, it'll come up with the page, go to the bottom of the page, put your date range in, put your division in, like for U11, U13, and then it'll tell you all the tournaments that are out there in BC. And then you go to the website, so it'll say Richmond Tournament, January 3rd, go to the Richmond website, go to tournaments, find it, and then apply through that website. That's how you do the
Also,
tournament.
you should find the link if you go in
From the
BC.
okay, perfect, yeah. Really great resource, you guys, when you're planning out the season for tournaments.
All right, next item on the list, you have to get your equipment, so jerseys, socks, first aid kit, pucks from equipment manager, Sherry Du. I think she sends out an email to all the managers on when to pick it up. So make sure you're on that list and you're able to schedule picking up your stuff. If for the younger age groups, if you have goalies who don't have, or new goalies, they don't have any gear, just send an email to Steven Stubbs, our goalie equipment manager. So links there. Just send him an email and say, I have a kid, want to try out some goalie gear. Usually you bring the kid to Steven at some time, and then he'll size them up and give you guys the equipment that the player needs. I think there's a $50 cash
$50
deposit.
cash deposit.
$50 cash deposit, thank you, that you need to provide. And then collecting jersey deposits and volunteer check. So volunteer check is new this year because we have this new volunteer program. Both are $200. Both are paid to BMHA, and April 1st, 2024 or March 30th. Sorry, April 1st, 2025 or March 31st, 2025. Doesn't matter, as long as it's at the end of the season. And I have a link here for our volunteer fees spreadsheet template. So what I want the team managers to do is, when you collect the checks, the volunteer checks, some people won't be giving you checks because they're rostered official, or maybe they're part of the executive or some other role. So you would just put their the player's name, and they will say exec or coach. That's why you didn't collect the check. But everyone else should have a yes for check collected. And then you give that stack of checks to your DM, and I will collect the checks from your DM. Okay. So we need to hold a parent meeting after the team is finalized. I think most of the team are probably finalized right now, so maybe this week or next week you can start booking your team meeting. I'll talk more about that in the next slide. You also have to create a team budget. I have a link for a template there for some common expenses that the team would have. By no means is it exhaustive, but at least a place for you to start, especially if you're new to managing. You can start with that and then just add things on as, you know, if your coach wants to do something, then you just add that on there. So based on the team budget, the template will actually calculate the team fees that you'll communicate to all your parents, and it would be good to do this before your parent meeting, so that everyone knows and they can ask questions and stuff. You also have to manage the assignments for each game. So timekeeper, scorekeeper are the two main assignments for every game. If you want to have a music person, if you want to have a camera person, you can sign that up if someone in your team wants to do it. I'll talk more about this when we get to the volunteer page, but as a manager, I want you to keep the assignment list as accurate as you can. So for example, you assign, or someone signs up for timekeeper, but they don't show up. And then you have to scramble to find another parent to replace that person. Try to change the name in TeamSnap to reflect the new timekeeper, because when I scrape through the database of TeamSnap and upload that to the sports helper, the volunteer portal, I want it to be as accurate as I can.
Are you comfortable with us keeping a separate spreadsheet and sending it to you at the end of the year?
If that's what you want, we can do that too. Just let me know so that I don't spend the time to extract the info. Sorry?
You 11C2 will be.
Okay. The only thing is that a lot of parents, like, I've received a lot of questions of, oh, I volunteer for this, how come it's not showing up? So if it's not regular, they might be thinking, oh, where is it, right?
Yeah.
And then they have no idea of how many hours they've actually accrued until the very end. It's like, oh no, I'm missing 2 hours. Like, what do I do, right? So that's the only thing if you want to do it at the end. But if your parents are okay and they track their own hours separately, I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I'll just track them all.
Okay.
Sorry. Like,
Yeah.
what if I say someone organizes a Christmas party and I say that's like 5 hours for it or something?
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
not gonna be a team snap.
That's not. I'll get to that when I get to the volunteer page. Okay, and then we have to work with your team officials, like mostly your head coach, to resolve team conflicts within the team. So just make sure you talk about the 24-hour rule. Everyone knows about the 24-hour rule. And incidents must be sent to BMHA within 7 days if there is an issue. I guess we need to know what's going on. and manage picture day. The biggest thing here is probably figuring out what to wear, right? Like as the kids get older, they might want to wear pants and collared shirt, or sweatpants, or maybe they still want their full hockey gear. It's up to you. There's more variations. For the younger groups, it's usually just a full hockey gear. But that's something to consider. Okay, so when you hold your parents' meeting, make sure to talk about the locker room policy, rule of two. So there's always 2 adults inside the room. It could be team officials. If the coaches are not there, you need to have parents in there. Inside the room, or if it's a female team and you have dads as being the 2 people who are should be in the dressing room, just let them stand outside, open the door so you can hear what's happening, what's going on. You don't have to be in there because of different genders. And no cell phones. So when I say no cell phones, they're not, playing on their phone or texting. Definitely no taking photos, right? I know a lot of teams, they like to play music. So if someone has connected their phone to a speaker, and then after they connect and play music, they put the phone away, that's fine. But no one should be actively being on their phone. And it's also like a good team bonding, right? When they're all in the dressing room, they should be talking to each other, right? Like, not like being on their phone. Okay, so ice time. So we need to communicate when our practice times are, when our home ice, and expectations for like away games. Like, if it's a President's League, it's all just lower mainland. But then if you're like a rep team, like female rep team, you can be going everywhere, right? So just make sure they know what the expectation is. One important thing out of the parents meeting is sportsmanship starts in the stand. So there's this link to a website where there's a video that every parent should be watching. And at the end, I think they fill out a form that goes with BC Hockey. And then when, as a parent, when they finish doing that thing, they're supposed to tell you as a team manager that I've done that. And you can make sure, once you have everyone tell you that they've done it, you contact your division manager, tell them that everyone has done their sportsmanship starts in the stand. Okay. And you also have to tell your DM when you did the parent meeting and how many parents participated. Okay, we have 2 fair play code form, one for parent, one for player. This is all in the Burnaby Minor website, so the links are in here. You can just send that to your parents, ask them to read through it. Tournaments, that's the biggest thing that you want to be talking about, parents, or one of the biggest things, because it costs money. So, between you and the coach, you probably have to decide how many tournaments you want to do. And if there's a tournament that may be a little far or a little pricey, you might want to have a survey for all the parents. Like a Google form, anonymous survey would be a good way to do it, just to see if you get majority buy-in in doing like a second tournament or a third tournament.
What are the maximum number of tournaments you can do for us?
Is there a maximum?
It's in the rule book, and there's also like maximum number of tournaments you can do during the playoffs. You can only do 1 tournament during the playoffs. I think for U11 it's 3 or 4 tournaments, 3 tournaments, and for the higher ages maybe 4.
I think it's 4, yeah. So 3 because the maximum number of games played, and it's clearly stated in the pathways for U11.
Yeah.
And then for above, I think it says something like 4, or you need executive approval or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. And just to elaborate on Jason's point about getting team approval, it's actually in the Burnaby policy manual that for any tournament that's more than 5 hours away, that you maybe that you have to fly to, or more than 5 hours drive, you do need 75% team approval by way of an anonymous survey. So.
Okay. So discuss the budgets and expenses. volunteer expectations. So you'll be, I guess, talking to them about what you expect as a manager for them to volunteer during the season, right? And the volunteer program, I think I mentioned it in my emails before, is meant to help you as team managers, to make it easy to find people, because with everyone knows that they need to satisfy their volunteer hours. So if you need something, usually people will just jump up and say, okay, I can do that. I have some hours that I need to work. So anything that you can think of that you think will make your life easier or make it fun for the kids, by all means, just put the volunteer role there. And yeah. So complete the parents meeting by November 15th. And if you want to book a room like Lakeview, there's a room request form here and on our website. The activity room is no longer available. There's some smaller rooms that won't fit the parent meeting. I've seen some people do it in the lobby out here, or like just outside the not outside the dress room, but whichever arena you're in, there's usually a lobby, right? So you just kind of circle around and start talking there. Unless you need to do like some presentation or slides, I don't think you need Lakeview in particular. Okay. So jerseys and socks, we have dark and white, or dark red and white. For home games, we tend to wear our association color, which is the maroon or dark red. And for away, Rebecca was telling me that there's no away color. We're always supposed to wear our association color, but obviously when we play away, the away team will wear their dark, so we can't wear our dark. So we would wear the white. But if there's conflict, like some associations, they only have one color. So we can be flexible, right? Always ask the players to bring both sets of jerseys so that we can change the colors if we need to. The U11C team gets to keep their jersey, or one set of jersey. So they only have to provide $100 jersey deposit, but all the other divisions, $200. If a jersey is missing at the end of the season, please give the equipment manager the jersey deposit check that you've collected at the beginning of the season to compensate for that missing jersey. Name bars are now allowed, and it's only from Scoffs Hockey. So if you need a name bar, make sure you contact Scoffs and see, okay, can I get my team's name in the list? So obviously this, you'll have to discuss this with your coach and parents. Yes?
Is name bar just for rec or for?
No, everyone.
Do it.
Yeah, yeah. If you're in house, you can do it too. We did it in house last year.
And you also get the 75% overlap as well.
Well, usually that's included in the budget. So if your families are okay with it, yeah. But if you're voting on it as an extra expense, then it's probably best to get a 75% vote. Yeah.
And, oh, sorry, yes.
In regards to the $30, does that include the padding and the logo?
Yes, yes. So creating the name bar, stitching it in at the start of the season, and then taking it out at the end of the season.
And do you know if there's any issues, it's the responsibility of that family to pay for if there's any damage from the process of it? It was mentioned.
From the name bar taking out?
I would think that would fall on Scoffs if there was an issue, because it would be something that they had done. But I know a number of teams did it last year and there wasn't any issue, which was great. So seems like a pretty safe
Yeah.
path to getting name bars.
Yes.
There were some families that expressed interest for numbers that are beyond the ones that are included in the equipment manager jerseys.
Okay.
They've also said that they're willing to pay for a jersey. Is that something that we offer, or is that something?
We haven't received that one.
We never looked at that, but that could be a good topic of discussion.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know, yeah.
Maybe no for now, and then we'll discuss it and see if we want to support that.
Yeah, they said they're willing to pay on their own.
Right, right.
Jersey. I know teams purchase their jerseys, right? Or purchase
That's
replica
for
jerseys.
sharing, yeah, for inventorizing and stuff, yeah, 'cause I mean, we can go to Scott's and get them, I don't
They
know.
could get their own jersey made.
Yeah, I know, like, grandma or mom or dad or somebody wants a jersey, you can do it, but I don't know about getting like a number. Yeah.
Yeah. if they want to buy their own jersey, or if they don't plan on returning the jersey, then yeah, I guess it's fine.
Yeah, they don't plan to return it, they want a specific number. And they said
Right.
that, I think they asked Scott if they could do the numbers, but.
Oh, I see.
I'm sure he could do it.
Yeah, and then I guess as
As
long
an
as
athlete,
you're.
though, You're gonna want that player to get both the home and the away, or you're gonna change the roster every game.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Yeah.
That sucks. Don't do that.
Can you email that one to us, please? Just email it, and then let us get the approval on it, is that okay? Yeah, I did that one. Thank you.
Okay, so if you had the name bar last year and you want to do it, I was told it was $12, but Katie said it was
No,
$17.
you're right, no, you're right.
Oh,
I think
okay,
you're right.
all right. So cheaper if you have your own name bar, so hang on to those name bars. A's and C's must be gently sewed in by hand. If you're getting name bar, you can also ask us to stitch the A and C while you're at it.
But not ironing the A's and C's, please. We talk about damage to jerseys, it's ironing the A's and C's that damages it. So that's where the gently sewn comes in.
And if you're gonna wash the jersey, just hang dry it. Don't put it in the dryer. The socks will definitely shrink, so hang dry them. Replacement socks, you can buy them. The knitted socks is for house, and I think the sublimated socks for rep. Yes.
If you, so we're U11, and so we have two of the Atomic jerseys. Are we supposed to have one set of sublimated socks or both colors?
Supposed
You
to have
should have
both.
You should have both. You should have a white set and a red set.
Okay, we only have one. Is that something that we can request from?
Email Sherry.
Email sharing. Yeah.
Yeah, they're probably somewhere in the
Yeah,
booth.
they're in the box.
Haven't brought out yet.
Okay, team snap.
Can we ask
Oh.
one quick, no, it's just, cause, yeah, some of us, we were only given one set of socks, but you have two colored jerseys. So
Most,
are you
most teams
supposed to
only have
have-
one pair of socks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For C teams, is it just the knit socks?
Yeah, just the knit socks.
No sublimated socks for U13 and up.
13C, you get just the one pair of socks.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Just the
just the knit.
It's just the rep team, I think, you have two pairs.
Yeah, the rep teams purchase an additional pair.
Okay.
Yeah, and then Atomics are supposed to have two colors.
Yeah.
Okay, so team snap. How many people actually import their schedule in team snap? Okay.
Like, you enter the schedule.
No, like you load the file and enter the whole schedule
Oh, through Excel?
through Excel.
Please tell.
Okay, so
I don't know what
so I created a tool that you guys can use. What you do is in Sportal, there's an export button. You can download it, copy the content into the spreadsheet that I'm giving you, and it will generate the CSV file that you can import to Teams. So you don't have to enter manually anymore. I'll show you the tool.
Commission on this one, Mason?
Yeah.
Can you test this out first?
So I tested it. It seemed to work, but then I need more people to try it on. So I guess my. So what? So what you do is you enter your team name here, and then you enter the arrival time, because every team has a different arrival time, like 30 minutes, an hour. So you enter that there, and that will be used. And then this tab here from Sportal CSV, you just copy whatever you export from Sportal, paste it in this tab, and then here it will output a format that's friendly for TeamSnap. So when you download the CSV file, there's instructions here, so you don't have to remember this. When you download the CSV file version of this tab, you can just import on TeamSnap, and it will show everything. Yes?
Okay, so I tried this last year. I was doing it on my own, and it was like, I found that it was taking me too much time to like rearrange the data into TeamSnap, so is this doing?
Yeah.
rearranging
So
all
this
that
does
for me?
everything.
Oh.
So all the date format, time format, determines which are you home or away. Yeah. So
I'm excited to try this.
so give it a try. It might save some time.
Still double check.
Yeah. The instruction does say to check what you've entered, and then check after TeamSnap, so to make sure everything is there.
So where can we get that template?
Actually, there's a link later, so I'll anyways, continue on TeamSnap. So I mentioned that you have to assign timekeeper and scorekeeper, but you can also assign the dressing room parents in there if you have, right? If you're assigning them. And I mentioned a while ago, keep the assignments as accurate as you can, so that when I download all the TeamSnap information and upload it to sports helpers, everyone's information is correct, like everyone's hours is counted. Some tips here that I've learned the hard way. Do not change the team name on TeamSnap. I like to put like my team number, like that 15-digit number into the name, but that messes up the syncing from TeamSnap to Sportle. So don't change the name. Do people use the tracking option in TeamSnap? Yeah, okay. So I find that a very useful tool in knowing, like, who has given me the jersey deposit, anything that you need to track, team keys. Yeah, give it a try if you haven't used it yet. When you're entering the rink, when you're entering the location, like Scotia Barn, make sure you enter which rink it is. Like Rosemary Brown, A or B. For here, it doesn't matter because there's only one rink. And then there's an extra label field in TeamSnap. If you're entering it manually, make sure you put the game number there, so that your scorekeeper, when they get on the score box, they just open TeamSnap, they see the game number there.
I always put the team number in there as well.
Yeah. But the tool will do it for you. And the team ID, that 15-digit number, it's good to have that somewhere. I like to put it in the post, like post a message for all the team information and put it there, so anyone can just go copy it and then paste it into the Sportle. Okay, yes?
I was entering today, and when I was doing the, drop down where the rank is, like for an away team,
Yeah.
not all the teams and all the ranks are listed. Is that going to be updated, or
If
I was
it's-
doing it manually and then entering the address because I don't want to send them to the wrong place.
Right. Yeah, there are certain arenas that are not there. Maybe it's not in our database. So if you let us know, we'll get that added. I'm not sure how it propagates, but we'll add it somewhere, and then hopefully everyone can see it. Any other questions on TeamSnap?
Jason, can I just add
Yes.
one thing? If you contact PCHA and you have questions, or you say my game schedule is different than Sportle, TeamSnap is only association-wide. PCHA doesn't use TeamSnap, so if you send us conflicting information, we won't understand what you're asking. So when you contact us, it's only what we see in Sportle.
Sportle's always right.
It's up to us to maintain, so if there's a problem or games, sometimes we've rescheduled a game, we go and edit, my fingers kind of clicks, but it kind of moves before I hit the button. Yeah, there's typos, but if we're fixing something, it's only in what you and I see in sport. So, yeah, TeamSnap is just your association.
Yeah, from time to time, you want to check Sportle and your TeamSnap, make sure they're in sync, because it's a manual process.
Can I change Sportle?
No, we don't have access to change Sportle.
So just going to the wrong time on Sportle, like into the game details?
Let us know if your league manager know.
Yeah, the league manager can do all those things, but not us. So we have to contact our league manager, tell them that there's something wrong with this game, please update. Well, if the time's wrong, then it matters.
If the referee is going to show up based on Sportle, your opponent's going to show up based on Sportle, you may see something else in your TeamSnap, but you won't have it.
Do I get into the PCHA website?
Yes, that's Sportle.
Oh, that's not Sportle.
Sportle is the schedule. But
But sometimes I'm wrong.
just to throw a couple other things in there, at the beginning of the season, we get ice times from all the associations, right? Everybody, men, minor, T-Birds, and it's happened a lot. We get typos on the ice times that you've supposedly been assigned. And we run with that to make a schedule, but the whole schedule's out of whack because we were told you play on a Saturday when you actually play on a Sunday. Or just a couple weeks ago, we found out that C2 and C5 are two different teams playing on baselines. So once the schedule is written and created and distributed, that's your baseline. And then after that, if you have a tournament and you reschedule, or there's other ice that you got taken away from you, that's when we may make a typo, right? So you have an ice time that you've gotten assigned from the association, but when we go to change it in Sportal, we might screw it up. So if you come and tell us, hey, there's something wrong, just tell us that Sportal is wrong, try not to reference Team Snap. We'll go and double check what we've done.
All right. Okay, Sportal. For those people who are new to Sportal, there's Sportal.com and play.sportal.com, or what we used to call high sports. Sportal.com is where you would log in to find your certification, your CRC,
It's your member
respective
account.
sports. Sorry?
It's your member account.
Yeah, member account. So especially since we're all team officials, all of our qualifications are there. But that's not where you go to find your games. You go to play.sportal.com. And since they're different, although they're same domains, they're different websites actually. So you may have a sportal.com account, but you may not have a play.sportal.com account. So you find that you have to create a new account in play.sportal.com just so that you can manage your team. Like, update like who's playing for that game, for example. Yes.
Playsportal.com, you'll only be able to log in with the game ID and your team ID, right?
No, so that's actually the next thing. So when you go to play.sportal.com, there's two ways to log in. One as a manager, which everyone should have access to, and the other one's a scorekeeper. So as a manager, if you enter your username and password, you'll see your team, whichever one you're rostered in, and you'll see all the games of your team. And you can click on the next game, you can enter your roster there, like who's playing for that game, and then you can sign it there. As a parent who's doing scorekeeping, they don't have access to that because they're not rostered. So even if they have a play.sportal.com account, they're not going to see their team name there. Yes.
So that login username password for the playsportal.com is different from sportal.com.
It could be different if they're not synced.
Because I still have a problem. Okay.
Yeah, so they're not synced. So it's best to use the same email address for both, same password for both, then you're not confusing each other, right? Especially with the auto-save feature of the phones, they see, oh, sportal.com is the domain name. I'm just going to use the same password as the other one, which is different, and then you can't log in, right? So it's best to keep those two websites same password, then you can always log in. So as a scorekeeper, all you need is a game ID, which we're all going to put in the extra label, and the team ID, which we're going to put somewhere in TeamSnap so everyone can see it. I mentioned that you can export the schedule. You can also find the contacts of all the head coaches and managers in your grouping. Does everyone know this? Like if you want to... Sorry?
As long as they made a public, sometimes it's not there, but.
Okay.
Want me to log in?
I can log in.
Or I'm logged in on mine right now.
Let me see if I can. Okay. So if I go to Teams, this is my team, so I click on that. Under Schedule, I see all my future or past games and future games. Here, if you click this one,
It says schedules and contacts. Right here?
and then I'm going to click Balancing. So these are the teams in my tier or division. So if you need to contact the manager of Arbutus in this case, because there's something, team's going to be late getting there, then you can shoot the manager a quick email or the coach a quick email. But all of the contacts of within your tier should be here. And if from league to playoff, if you're in a different groups, you'll see a playoff grouping there, and then the contacts will be there. So you don't have to email like the registrar of, or the president of the other associations. Everything's in High Sports or Sportal, so you can find it there.
It should be, but you guys have to update your contact information in there. So you need to go into your Sporto profile and put in your email address and your phone number that you want to be contacted for the team. Okay?
In the play school.
Place.
In High Sports play.
Play,
Sporto
yeah.
play.
Sportal play.
It's had 3 different names in 3
Yes.
years.
Mine actually only says schedule, it says schedule and contacts, is that something, who would I contact about that?
I'll take a look at it with you, and we'll sort that out. Steph?
Just to be sure, that's the team manager, but the roster manager, not like I'm full manager, but I'm not roster. So she's the one who can do that.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
rostered official.
Perfect.
If you're a coach or safety
Right.
assistant coach, you can see all of this information. Okay, and PCHA has a Sportal training session tomorrow. So if you're interested, please go there. And make sure you review and sign up the team roster before the game starts, or 10 minutes, 15 minutes before the game starts. It's like if you kind of forgot and then when the practice is going on, that's when you update it. The scorekeeper may not see it in their tablet or their phone because it takes time to sync. If that's the case, just go into the scorekeeper's box on the device that the scorekeeper is using. Just enter your roster. Okay.
Does it have to be perfect?
Sorry?
Does it have to be perfect? Let's say do it half an hour before, expect these 7 kids or 12 kids, whatever, and then 2 don't show up.
If you can just let the officials know, because the referees do count how many people are on the ice versus what's on the roster. And if there's a discrepancy, then they'll ask, how come
You
there's...
can also do it half an hour before, the night before, and then just check it just before the game starts, like 15 minutes before game start, and you can amend it at that time as well.
I can't be at every game, so I'm gonna do it late the night before and hold
Talk to
that.
your head coach.
Yeah,
Head
the
coach
coaches can do it at the game too.
Yeah.
Just make sure the coaches have the access to do it. And then, probably not official, but if you're 2 over and they don't show up, okay. If you're 2 under, then that's another problem, that's a bigger problem. If you put 12 in and 14 show up, that's a bigger problem than if you put 14 and 12 show up. So, if you're unsure, just unofficial.
Okay, I'll quickly go through the referees and then I'll ask Dennis to say a few words maybe, if you want to add something. So for U13 and below, I think everyone knows it's Horizon Web. I've seen people log in there and post their game. So when you get to U15 and above, PCHA handles the refereeing thing, so it's so much easier. As a manager, you need to make sure that you have the referee and line envelopes on the scorer's box before game time, so that you're not rushing to or stressing to find the exact change, right? And it would be good if you have individual envelopes for each one. I've seen some people, they just put one big envelope, everyone's money, and then they kind of have to split it out. It's best if you just have separate envelopes. And you can just buy a box of envelope for the team and charge expensive to the team.
I never accessed the Horizon app for this BCA, photo for the referees. Do we need to do it?
For U13?
For U13 or?
U18, you don't need to do anything.
Okay.
You just show up with the money. For U13, the managers actually have to log into Horizon Web, enter the games that they have scheduled on Sportal, so that Dennis can assign referees for those games. Otherwise, if you don't enter it there, no referees will show up.
So I guess you can about there automatically, it points those photos it gets.
So all the games go to Sportal, doesn't matter U13, 11, or U15. It's just that for U15, all U15 games, referees will go to Sportal and request games there. But for U13 and below, for us, even if referees request games there, they won't be accepted because Dennis uses Horizon. That's where he assigns referees.
Okay, so then for U18, I can, without looking at that, I can assume that there's always referee.
That's right. Yeah.
Somebody else is already checking.
Never assume you'll get referees. Check the game on the Sportal, but yeah, you go to Sportal below.
Yeah. well, you don't have to do anything for referees to show up, right? But then, or for referees to request the games. But it's possible that referees just can't make it, right?
Yeah.
And you may only have one referee. But it's usually the PCHA league or the referee assigner's job to find people for your game. If your game is on Sportal, then someone is working hard to find referees for your game.
Oh,
One tip, I'm sure Jason's had to deal with this a lot. You can look on Sportal to see how many officials you've gotten assigned.
Okay.
Because you can prepare money for 3 people, and you get to the game and there's only 2 guys. So you have to be prepared to crank up all that money, because they get paid different amount.
oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
So
so
you can check your status before you go to the range,
That's right.
kind of be ready beforehand.
I always bring 4 envelopes. I bring 2 ref envelopes and 2 lines
Yeah.
envelopes. Because if 2 show up, then you give away the 2 refs. But if 3 show up, then you got a ref and 2 lines and you take.
That's right. Yeah,
Then
that's-
you're already prepared for.
yes,
What's the maximum amount for reimbursement in one team for house?
for referees,
For referees, yeah.
it's fully paid by BMHA.
Oh, okay, so even like,
But you have a maximum amount of games that you're allowed to play. So.
oh,
Yeah,
okay.
if you don't schedule exhibition games, like, you know, just for fun kind of thing, all the league games, like placement, playoffs, all of that's covered by BMHA.
So exhibition games are not covered?
Well, if you say find a team by yourself and then you play exhibition games, I don't believe that's covered.
No, it comes in your team.
Yeah, your team fees will pay for the rent, but it's not covered by, because that's extra, right?
Yeah.
Like BMHA will cover everything that PCHA or the league will assign you. So that includes placement at the beginning. Also, it includes the balancing that within BMHA, like when you're playing each other to see if you're balanced, that's covered as well. So you should make sure, actually my next line is update the referee payment schedule. So there's a spreadsheet where you would enter this date, this is my game, this is the game number, and then where the location and how much I paid for referees. And you would fill that with all of your games and send that to the treasurer at the end of the season. If the balance, let's say it says that you paid more than what you got from BMHA, then we'll send you a check at the end of the season for the leftover. But if you didn't use up all of the money that we sent you, then you write us a check. I think there was a question here.
Oh, actually, how do we get this money?
Sorry? Oh, how you get money? Okay, so we can talk about that. Like, we got your ICE deposit check. So every team who we got the ICE deposit check for will e-transfer the manager the money. And if you have a treasurer, then you just transfer the money to the treasurer. Yes?
Is there any chance of us going to an electronic payment system?
It is e-transfer. Oh,
Not for the refs quite yet.
oh, paying the refs. you mean.
For us to give you guys quick number of checks before, now we're gonna do e-transfer to
Okay.
you.
No, I was thinking for paying the referee.
No, no.
Not quite yet. It's complicated.
Officially part of
We're looking for
BC.
volunteers, Sandra, to take on the program.
So maybe they have to bank accounts, maybe they don't know the rest.
It's very, they're coming from all over the place.
And they don't want to claim it in their income.
The main thing is referees are all under BC Hockey umbrella, which is under Hockey Canada umbrella. So they have all their little guidelines in place. Started changing most of this.
But honestly, if you just go to the bank at the start of the season and get your 20s, and get your 10s, and get your 80s, just make up your envelope now, and then you're the season, you don't have to worry about it.
Yeah, I usually create like 10 games worth of envelopes. And with that, on that note, I have another tool. May be useful, may not be useful. So it's my referee money calculator. So you enter your division here, and then sorry, bear with me. And then the number of games, let's say 5 games. It will tell you how much money you need to withdraw and how much of each denomination you need. So easier to ask the bank, this number, this number, this number.
Double the salary.
All right, so the link is all in the presentation slide, so you don't have to remember where's how to get it. Oh yeah, and I think someone mentioned the first tip: bring additional envelope for a referee. So I usually have a set referee line, staple them together, staple 3 envelopes together, and have a separate referee envelope just in case. It's the most stressful thing is looking for cash when we're mostly a cashless society now, right? Okay, APs. So teams with 12 or less players can ask for APs. The division managers for all the division will have a list of players that they think can AP for the older age group. Usually maybe the better players from that division. So the process is, as a team manager, if I'm a team manager for U18, I'm gonna contact the U15 division manager. Can you send me the spreadsheet of all the players that who might be able to AP? And I'll see the list. I'll choose maybe a couple players. The first thing you want to do is contact their coach to get approval. This is very important. You always get the coach's approval for that player that you're APing, just so that there's no confusion. And the player who you're APing cannot ditch their game for your game. Their priority is their own team, and if they're free, then they can play out. So to add the AP to the roster, you don't have to add them to your permanent roster, meaning you don't have to add in Team Snap and you get synced to Hockey Canada. So when you click on the game where you confirm your roster for that game, there's a plus button there where you can click on, no?
No, so
They took that away last year.
only league managers, only your Pacific Coast League manager, when you ask them for permission, they're the ones that will add your AP to your
Oh,
roster
okay.
for that game.
There you go.
It was there a couple of years ago, but they changed it very quickly.
Okay.
You'll be able to see it right now because we're preseason, but once your league play starts, you will no longer have that ability.
Right. And regardless, you have to ask the league manager anyways, right? So
Yes.
once the coach says, yes, this kid can AP for you, you contact your league manager to say, I want to AP this person, and then they will add the person's information into your game roster.
Sorry, the league manager different from DN?
Yeah, so league manager is PCHA.
So we, team manager contact directly league manager?
Yeah, you always deal with your league manager. So like, for example, if there's a conflict game, you have, and then you, Angela gives you a different ice, you have to tell the league manager, I cannot make this game, this is the new, the time that the opponent and our team has agreed that we'll play. And then the league manager will go to PCH, to go to Sportal, enter the new information, and then it'll be formalized then. Yes.
Not sure if I have the league manager's information.
You will get an email from your league manager welcoming you to the team, or to the division. Yes. Yeah. Or to the season. Yes. So APs have a 10 game limit. This includes placement, regular league, and playoffs. It's only until when their season ends can they AP more.
That's not including tournaments.
That's not including tournaments. Okay, questions about APs? Tournaments, okay. I say typically 1 to 2, but some coaches are crazy. Not looking at anyone. They might do more. But BMHA hosts 3 tournaments. For the females, the Remembrance Day tournament in November. For the rep, like U13 and U15 A1s, they get to do Pac-Twin in December, end of December. And house, we have a Spring Blast, which I run. So lots of volunteer positions there, stay tuned. And as Keith mentioned, there's a BC Hockey website where you can find all the tournaments, the link is here. And in general, there's guidelines that your league manager will tell you on how go through tournament permission requests. But general guideline is you need to fill out this form, and it will give you a tournament permission number. So this authorizes, or the league manager authorizes you to participate in that tournament. And every tournament that you're participating in, they will ask for this document. So you would need to have this. Some tournaments, they ask for your official roster, and you can get this from the registrar. And Angela said to give her a heads up if you have an upcoming tournament. So for example, we have a Thanksgiving tournament coming up. I told her that we'll be away from this day, or we'll have a tournament from this day to this day. So when PCHA is trying to figure out the schedule for the league, she can say, oh, this team is not available during this day, so why don't we move that game here instead? So it saves the hassle of every game being published, and then you have to ask Angela for another ice because you can't make it for tournaments. So that's just one tip to make things easier for both Angela and us.
Official roster sheet from
So it just tells you, it's a PDF with a BMHA logo and your team name, your team ID, and everyone's, the roster's name, birthday, and all that stuff.
that is required by the tournament.
Yeah. So they want to make sure that the players who are participating in the tournament are actually from your team. You don't have any ringers coming in. So if they cross-reference it and say, hey, how come this guy's not, or this person is not in the official roster sheet, you might get disqualified. Okay, so out of town tournaments or out of province or USA tournaments, there's more process involved there, but it's not that bad. You just have to get president's permission, fill a different form. It has to go through BC Hockey approval instead of just PCHA. But for most of the sanctioned tournaments, it's not a big deal. Okay, and if you have a tournament and you have either, or if you have practice ice during those times, you probably want to return it to Angela so that it can be, assuming you're not going to use it when you're in the tournament. Then she can use it to resolve other conflicts. Okay. ICE protocol, so Angela, if you want to say something later, let me know. So return unusable practice or game ice to her, so it can be reassigned. Minimum of 3 weeks. She said that 1 week so that she can send out an email to everyone to see who can take it. And if no one wants to take it, then she still has 2 weeks to return to Burnaby, because the city requires 2 weeks notice to return any ice. Otherwise, we get charged for it. And Scotia Barn, we cannot return the ice. So if you can use Scotia Barn, jump on it. It's your responsibility to resolve game conflicts. So if on the Sportal website, the High Sports website, it says game conflict, you need to figure out, okay, what's a game conflict? And if you're the home team, talk to the other team association and ask what's the conflict. Are they in a tournament, or which days are good for them, which days are bad for them? Then you can work with Angela to find another ice time. Angela will also look at the other team when determining what ice to give you, so that she doesn't give you an ice that for sure there's a conflict.
Jason.
Yes. Oh.
Keep in mind that if you have to reschedule the home ice because the other team is at a tournament or something, and the only ice you have to offer is a 7:15 at Rosemary Brown, the other team has to accept that if it's not a conflict.
Right.
They can't just say, no, it doesn't really work for us, it's really early.
Yeah.
Like, they do have to accept those times.
Yes, that's a good point. Like, you cannot be choosy when you're resolving conflicts, right? And I think all the managers are given that info. Right? Everyone is short of ice. You cannot give prime ice time every time, right? Especially for the younger age, it's all morning ice times anyway, so you have to take it. Okay, and if you do not show up for an ice time, like a practice ice that you, we will cash in your $250 ice deposit. That's why it's there. And if you want to see, get more information on the conflict resolution process, there's a link there. And it has way more details that, it's probably good to read once, so that you know what else to expect. Yes?
How often do game conflicts?
Usually when they release a schedule, that's when game conflicts will happen. Or if, you know, when the schedule is out and then a team gets into a tournament and now they cannot do these games, then they'll flag it as a conflict and then you can resolve it.
Another reason why it may be a conflict would be that if you have a game ice and the opposing team has a game ice on the same day, that can result in a game conflict. So the league manager will identify what it is a conflict. It will say right in Sportal when your schedule comes out, and that the home team is always the one that resolves the conflict. Hope that helps.
Yeah, sometimes, like, especially for the older age group, you have game time on the same day, but then once in the morning, once at night, so you might just have to play 2 games in one day. If the difference between those 2 games is long enough, right? I think there's
More
like
than 3 hours.
more than 3
Yes.
hours. Thank you. Yeah.
Sometimes less if both teams agree and the league manager says yes.
There you go. Yeah. There's always exceptions.
Yes, there is.
You have to accept it as more than 3 hours.
Yeah.
Okay, volunteer program. So we put all the BMHA and tournament level on Sports Helper directly. And to make it easy for the managers, I'm just asking you to keep everything in TeamSnap. I'll do all the heavy work to figure out how to upload that to Sports Helpers. The timing is just difficult this year. Like initially I thought of ramping all the team managers up on how to post volunteer roles, how to get people in there. But it's just too busy early in the season, and I haven't had a chance to do the proper tutorials or trainings. So what I'm proposing now is I have this form here. It's a Google form where if you have a treasurer in your team or a social coordinator or someone doing Christmas party, just fill in the form. It will have your name as a manager, team name, the parent's name that you want to include, and the number of hours. And I'll upload that into Sports Helpers and they'll see it. So should be just as easy as filling a form for you guys. Next season, we'll wrap everyone up so that I don't have to do the work, but then this season, since it's a transition year, we can try this one and see how it goes. So keep the TeamSnap assignments as accurate as you can, so I don't have to figure out who's missing and all that. Yes?
What are the team features that non-player roster? Is it treasurers part of it, or what are the extra features that counts?
Team officials would be head coach, assistant coaches, safety, and manager.
Not
Treasurer is not a team official role, but we recognize that it's a lot of work throughout the season, so we want to recognize that. So there's a max of 10 hours that I'm giving everyone. So if you're a treasurer, I'll give you 10 hours. Then you're done for the season. You just do your treasurer role. Yeah. Yes?
Some parents were asking how much time you allocate for Orthodox, pretty obvious, but for the change room.
So change room, I think we kind of estimate 1 hour. So like let's say half an hour before the game and then half an hour after the game, then that's like an hour. I think that's a fair number to give them, because during the game, they're just watching. They have to be the enemies, so it's not like they're on duty. But I think an hour is good to give the parents for dressing room changes. Yes?
So if you're exempt, let's say myself, and then, because I had someone ask me a question today, because her husband is an assistant coach, so the whole family exempt?
That's right.
Okay, so I wouldn't be signing them up for debt or time or clock, like score.
Right,
or
right.
anything like that.
And it's only
I mean,
per
they-
family.
Still want to share the duties.
They can still help, and you would
Still wanna share
encourage them to
yeah.
help as well, but then.
So they're not exempt?
They're
No, no.
exempt from like the $200 check, but
Oh.
they should all share the duties. Like as a manager,
Yes.
you guys should still do the clock,
Yes.
right? Like
No, we do
everybody
that.
should do the duties
Right.
together.
Cause that's what this person asked me this morning, she said, we still do snacks, so that was one thing, okay, but like she got the clock, the scorekeeping, the den, that they would be
Well,
doing
I'll
that.
leave it to the team to decide how you want to do it, because ultimately, this tool is for managers to make it easy for you to manage your team.
Yes, and it is, because I was trying to go through this great spreadsheet that was given to me.
Yeah.
And I'm moving people around and, so, yes.
If you exempt too many people, then you don't have a lot
That's what I'm
of
saying.
people to work with. Yeah.
But if you don't have,
Yes.
like, if you've got 6 or 7 people,
Okay, so it's 10 hours per family.
Yeah.
And because example, I'm not gonna be team already.
Yeah.
Then,
families who are already
then
exempt,
do
you
I
don't
need
want
to
to
put another check for my other team?
right? So you
No,
can-
no, just, so the question is, if you have 2 kids, do you write 2 checks? And in the volunteer template that I have, you can say that for your older kid, I did not give you a check, and the reason is, younger kid, U11C1, this is the name of the kid. So you give the volunteer check to the youngest kid's team.
Right.
Oh, yes.
What I've noticed is when you create something like it might be practice, it's not an actual game. So you have to create an event. With the event, you can't put assignments to it. So that means you have to keep it totally separate.
Oh.
Track of, yeah, you can't put parent assignments to an event for practice.
It's an issue for your safety. You can change it.
Your safety is exempt anyway, they're roster officials.
Yeah. Okay, that's a good point. Let me think about that.
Jason,
Oh,
Katrine
yes.
says you can change the settings on Team Snap to have assignments appear for events.
Oh,
So
okay.
it's a setting in there.
Yeah, probably under preferences.
I think so, yeah, somebody showed it to me last week, so.
Okay, I'll
Okay,
take a
so
look.
there's a way apparently to add assignments for events.
And Hannah,
Yes.
Well, that's usually how I do it. I do it.
Parent is doing a video for every game, and that's valued by our coach.
Yep, yep.
Does that count as
Oh
well?
yeah, for sure, for sure. So just add that to the every game, right? In Team Snap, just create like a video guide. And then put that
Just be
in.
a setting.
We have like music, DJ in there, is that one?
Yeah, music is another one. If the scorekeeper does it, good.
Yeah, for the coaches.
But if you have a separate music person, then put them in there. Yes. What about? You're just supposed to be there to make sure that there's no foul play, like no one's on their phone or no one's bullying anyone. So essentially, you're just standing listening to what they're talking about. Yes.
Sorry, just related to that question. So I got a question the other day. Somebody was asking, do the dressing room monitors
if they're doing it consistently. So if you have the same 2 monitors for every game, or 4 monitors who are doing it for every practice and every game, then yeah, they should have a CRC. So if they are consistently doing it. If you're rotating through parents, they don't need a CRC.
Any other questions? No? Okay. So a lot of people say, oh, they logged in to Sports Helper, they don't see anything. That's because there's currently no BMHA level or tournament level volunteer roles added. But once, say, Wednesday tournament starts going or Spring Blast gets going, we will send an email out to everyone saying there's a lot of volunteer jobs or roles that you can sign up for. There's also picture day, and we may have volunteer positions for that as well. But right now, the season's just getting going. We don't have anything yet. So focus on the team level first, and then when we have those tournament levels or BMHA level ones, then we'll ask you to sign. Okay, and we're always updating the volunteer webpage. There's like the FAQ that keeps getting longer and longer. So every time I get an email asking about this, I would update the FAQ with that thing. So if your parents have questions, refer them to the volunteer page first. If it doesn't answer their question, then ask them to email volunteer-committee@Burnaby-Line. One of us will reply to you. I'll be adding some sports helpers tutorial at some point. I'm not sure when we'll get to it, but they will be there for next season. Yes?
Sorry, just going back to the is there any standardized online available resources on how to use it? Because I know a lot of parents last year were kind of worried about using the devices.
Yeah. So that's one of the things I'm working on right now. We do have the reference, like a PDF with instructions, but we just posted Kensington video, like on YouTube, on how to use the clock, some tips and tricks that you can do. So once we have everything set up, my plan is to have the document how to, and a QR code that you can scan, and then it'll pop up the YouTube video you want to watch it and go through the tutorial. How to familiarize yourself with the machine. So that's in the works, just takes time. The other thing is, for music, a lot of the older families of kids, they have their own cables, or Kensington has Bluetooth support, so not a problem. But for the younger families who's new to all of this, it might be hard to figure out how to connect the music. So we'll have a series on playing music in all of the arenas, because all the arenas machines are different. And we'll also have cables in the arena so that you can just plug into your phone and play music.
So associated with that, is there an approved track list? Because I always don't know what songs.
Yeah, that's one of our to-do list, to have a sample playlist in Spotify or Apple Music that we can just post publicly, and then you can use that to start with and then start adding your own. But essentially, like, nothing, no swearing words. Like, no raps maybe. Yeah. I hear that, like, 80s and 90s music seems to be popular. YMCA seems to be popular. So things like that. Any questions about volunteers? Oh, okay. You want to talk?
Want me to show it quickly? Do you have?
Okay, so
Or do you go to Teams tab?
I can just put this.
Sure.
So Katie's going to show you how to add assignments for events.
What was your team? Which team?
U15C1.
Okay, I'm gonna pull that up.
Oh, sorry, C2.
C2? No, All right. Yes. Okay, so on your TeamSnap homepage, when you go to assignments, there's a view preferences here, and then track assignments for games and events. Okay? Save. Now you can okay. Yeah. There you go.
It's a night of learning.
Here's that. U15C2 is good to go.
All right. Fundraising sponsorships. So the popular ones that I've seen in the past. Oh, sorry. Exactly. Flip Give. Everyone knows how Flip Give works? Flip Give. It's like a service where I think you can create an account for your team, and if you send it to your parent group and they buy something using that link, a portion of your purchase goes towards your team fund, and you can use that to pay for whatever. So the more you shop, like Sports Check, I'm sure there's lots of Sports Check shopping going on this season, then the more you'll get to your team, and it might cover the name bars. Or depends on how much you spend. I've also seen bottle returns, so like you just go around your neighborhood, collect bottles, and get money that way. There's also Krispy Kreme. It works best if you time it with a tournament, because there's lots of people going in. But maybe ask for the tournament director's permission. There's a lot of local businesses that want to sponsor, especially if one of your family has a local business and they want to contribute. Usually they pay for practice jerseys, jacket, or stuff. If you want to do that, you can go to the apparel website. We have Real Hip, Time Out Sports, and Scoffs as the 3 authorized vendors or stores to get BMHA apparel. So I'm just going to talk about some division-specific things. So for U7, it's obviously cross ice. Focus is balancing. You're playing cross ice. Teams are not formed until November 1st. And may not play outside of association until after Christmas break. So the first half of the season is really just development. You want to get the basic skills going. And there's a max of 6 games assigned by the league. For U7, female, may start playing against other associations after December 1st, and max of 6 games, again assigned by the league, starting January 1st.
Yeah, those are league games. You can get exhibition games.
Yeah. So you can schedule your own exhibition games, but the league will give you, I guess, up to 6 games. For U9, I heard this is very new for this year. It's full ice now, back to full ice. So focus is still balancing? Okay. So the teams are not formed until October 15th. So they're gonna keep on balancing until after the Thanksgiving. Players can be moved in between teams, and there's a max of 35 games, and this will be assigned by PCHA. Same for the female, it's set you play full ice for 6 weeks starting January 1st.
Yeah.
Any questions? No? Okay. So there's nothing special to say about U11 to U15. It's pretty standard stuff. For U18, the volunteer program doesn't apply to you. So the way to, if you have kids in U18, the way to think about it is, let's assume your U18 kid is not here. What would you do? So if you don't have a U18 kid, you only have U13 and U15, then you divide your volunteer hours between those two. But obviously you still have obligation to your U18 team, so you still have to help in that team. We just won't track the hours. For U21, I heard from our U21 DM that timekeeping and scorekeeping could be challenging because most of the kids are driving themselves. So I created a form for parents or players to sign up to do timekeeping and scorekeeping for U21. And it's $25 per game. So if you fill in the form, I'll add you to the distribution list, and the team manager of U21 will just send an email to the list saying, December 1st, 5:30, I need timekeepers. And then people who's in the list can reply. The team manager can work the arrangement. So I would encourage, especially the U18 and U15 managers, to let your players know that there's a way to make money. $25 per game, not too bad. Sorry? Okay.
Is that $25 for one person to do both?
No. Per. If you want to do both, then that's $50 per game. So I'm thinking, what's a good way to summarize this? So I just created this timeline. The preseason, what does a manager need to do? Accurate roster and team snap and portal, make sure they're synced. Jersey and volunteer deposit check. Apply for tournaments, hold parent meeting, assign team roles. For the regular season, you'll have to enter your games of Team Snap or use the export tool. Finalize on your tournaments, make sure you pay the tournament so that you're in. Collect team fees, create game and team level volunteer roles. Resolve conflicts due to tournaments. And during the playoffs, you still have to enter the playoff games, same as the league game. And this is when you start planning for your wrap-up party. If you want to order any gifts at the end of the season, you'd probably want to do that at this stage as well. And figure out how to collect the jerseys. Like, do you want to collect on the last day? Or do you want to do it at the wrap-up party? Are you washing all of them? Or are you asking everyone to wash it before you return it? If you're washing all of them, you can also add a budget item in your team fund for laundry. So you just send it to a laundromat, they wash everything, and away you go. We don't want to give more burden to the managers. And the end of the season, you collect the jerseys, make sure that the A's and C's are taken out and name bars are taken out. If you have name bars, actually, you have to send it to Scoffs. Make sure you send it to Scoffs and get it back when they're done. Either the manager or the treasurer maybe send a quick email saying what the accounting looks like for the season. You can be as detailed as every expense tracked, or you can just say, we spent this much, we collected this much, here's the leftover, and then e-transfer, refund everything once. You also have to fill in the referee game sheet, so that if you coughed up some money at the end for refereeing, then BMHA will reimburse you for that. And yeah, refund any unused funds to all the families. So the links of a lot of the documents, the tools are here in alphabetical order. So when you get this presentation slide, you can just go to the links directly and start playing around with the tools. That's it. I have some backup slides here for Horizon Web. I think everyone kind of knows. All the U13 and below managers are ramped up on it sometimes. Open it up for questions. Sorry. Yeah.
When are we really getting the referee teams?
So we're collecting the ICE deposits right now. As soon as we have your ICE deposit, we'll get our treasurer to e-transfer the referee fees to your manager, to you. So right now we're trying to figure out what's the amount that we're e-transferring to every team. And we're gonna look at last year's data to see how much every team spent on refereeing. So we have a more accurate number. So when we send it to you, it should cover you for the whole season. What happened last year was we sent you a little bit, and then you ran out of money, and then you asked for more, and then it took some time, and you have to shell out some money. So we want to do it right the first time. So give us some time, but maybe hopefully in the next couple of weeks. Yes.
When you do e-transfer, how do you know our emails for the receiving?
Team stats.
But then maybe the receiving email.
Receiving email.
For the e-transfer. So you guys
I think we'll
email may not be the same as
yeah.
Yeah.
We'll go through the DMs. We'll ask the DMs to provide us with the email address that the team managers would like the e-transfer sent to.
Yeah, because last year was by check, right?
Yeah, that's right.
So is e-transfer this year?
E-transfers this year. It's just so it's faster, right? To get the money. So if you think that the email is not correct, so we'll work with the DM to make sure we have accurate email addresses for e-transfer for all the teams.
Yeah.
And then we'll start sending those. If we have your check, we'll start sending those. Yes. Sorry, say it again.
The ICE deposit fee that you talked about.
Yeah.
You're collecting.
Yeah.
Do we have to do anything for that, or are you just collecting it from the team fees?
No, it's just a check. It's a post-dated check. So you just write us a post-dated check for $250, and if you miss your ICE, or if you don't use your ICE, then we'll cash it. But if you use all of your ICE, then we'll just rip it at the end of the season.
Okay, so we just give it to you guys at a later date?
Well, now would be good, but anytime, yeah. We'll just contact us on when we can facilitate the pickup. Yes.
And then
Editing. Dennis, there's a question of, so they submitted a game on Horizon, and it was incorrect, right? Or there's some, they need to edit it.
Did I answer you back yet?
You said, today would be the day.
Yeah, I spent like an hour trying to pull slides to make something to show everybody how to do it. Basically, there's a way to create your account, create a game, edit a game, or and ultimately next year, change the team that you're managing, change your affiliation. So, yeah. Just tell me the game afterwards, and I'll make sure it's updated.
Just remember to put it in the Horizon web ref and change the date, because it always
Defaults to the day you're making.
And then you email Dennis repeatedly.
Okay, so you can come to Dennis and then you can change it right now. Or after the
It's
meeting.
already changed.
Oh, it's already
It's
changed,
already
okay.
changed, yeah.
Oh, he changed it already.
Yeah. He was gonna let us know or let me know how
I just didn't get all the slides put
Oh,
together.
okay. So maybe Dennis will send an email to me, we'll send to him.
Yeah.
Clint's been waiting a while for you.
Oh, sorry.
Oh, sure.
Do we need medical forms for players, or is there access to medical forms that they've already filled out?
No, I think that's streamlined.
It's all on TeamSnap.
It's on TeamSnap.
So manager access, you should be able to see their medical forms. So if you want to have a hard copy with you, you could print it out.
So if we can't see medical forms, then it's a setting set by set.
No, you shouldn't see it. You should be able to see it.
I looked today, I didn't see it.
Manager access on each individual.
Okay, Clint will come up later, okay. Yes.
You might have already answered this, but for UAT, do we still collect the volunteer checks?
No,
or
no, no.
right?
No volunteer checks for UAT.
UAT.
Yeah. Yes.
Just a hot tip for managers, create a Google account for your team. So like I'm Wildcat B13A1 at gmail.com. All of my communication information is all in that email. And you set your bank account up, you set it up under that email address, and have auto deposit, everything goes straight to the bank account, and you never have to go back. So it makes your life way easier by just creating a new account every year and your stuff.
Good tip, thank you. Yes.
Sorry, just related to this question, so the managers have access to the medical form, do the HCSPs have access to them?
That's supposed to be on TeamSnap or on Zoom?
TeamSnap.
TeamSnap.
I don't see the TeamSnap.
On the player individual roster profile, you don't see it.
Does it matter if
On
it's
the
an
left,
app or
on,
the phone?
it has to be desktop. It
Desktop.
has to be desktop. Yeah.
Some things are not shown on the app. So. Yes.
Do we know when photo day is?
Yes,
Photo day.
we do.
You do?
I thought we Larry booked it.
I can't remember the dates though. Do you
It's
remember
like
it?
the same as it always is, which is like November
It's about the
17th.
third week in November.
Yeah.
Someone in there?
Is that pictures?
Yeah.
Yes, I bet you it is November 16th and 17th this year. He always books the same weekend.
At the same hall, at the same hall.
Same place.
Yeah.
Thank you. Oh, the same place as last year?
Yeah. Any other questions?
Thank you, everybody.
So if
You're
you
all
have
wonderful.
any feedback on how we can make things better, just email me, and then we'll look into addressing that. I think my job is to make your life easier as manager, especially for the new ones. So anything we can do, let me know. Dennis.
I just have one ask. If your games start late, like 4 to 5 minutes, can you let me know? The expectation of the referees is they're on the ice before your ice time. Nets are set up. If your ice time starts at 7, they should be blowing your whistle, letting your teams jump on the ice for warm up at 7. Okay, 1 minute maybe, barring like Zamboni problems or something. But if they don't come out of the dressing room until it's 2 or 3 minutes past, and then they're setting your nets up, let me know, because I keep trying to send that message, but everyone's a little nonchalant about their being on time. So yeah, let me know, please.
So actually the waiting on the horizon makes sense. If the waiting is not good, then it means.
Rating, yeah, you can put
There's a waiting
comments
on
in
there.
there,
Yeah.
but I would rather just know directly.
Oh, okay.
Is it just one person per team assigned able to access Horizon? So you don't have two people on the same team assigned?
No, just one, yeah. It's more for me managing the games, and if I have to contact somebody, and it just gets kind of convoluted and messy for me to keep things organized.
Good. Thank you so much. Thank you, guys. Have a great season.